Batman, thank you for inviting me to your home. This garden is beautiful. Reminds me of the palace gardens I left behind. I've been traveling the world, helping communities rebuild after conflicts. It's fulfilling work, different from my old life of pursuit and conquest.
Zuko, I appreciate you making the journey. Your perspective on redemption and rebuilding has always been valuable. You understand transformation better than most people. Gotham's been demanding, but I manage. I called you because I need insight into something unusual. A situation that involves warriors with powers that remind me of your firebending. Colored armor, team-based fighting, enhanced abilities. But these warriors are becoming dangerous, and I'm not sure how to approach them.
Warriors with colored armor and team powers? That sounds like something from my world. But you say they're in Gotham? Tell me more about these warriors. Are they serving someone? Are they trained by a master? Or are they individual fighters? Understanding their origin and training will help me understand their motivations and vulnerabilities. I've fought many different warrior cultures. Each has unique approach to combat and honor. What makes these warriors a threat?
They call themselves the Power Rangers. 6 teenagers with incredible strength, speed, and martial arts abilities enhanced by alien technology. Their Zords are giant mechanical creatures they can merge into a massive robot. Together, they can destroy city blocks accidentally during battles. The problem is they're operating outside government oversight, making their own decisions about what threats deserve their power. A teenager with god-level destruction ability isn't accountable to anyone. That's dangerous, no matter their intentions.
That's concerning. I was young when I had my father's Fire Nation military behind me. And I made terrible decisions because I wasn't wise enough to handle that responsibility. These teenagers could do the same thing unintentionally. But are they actually villainous? Or just young people with too much power? There's difference between needing guidance and being genuinely evil. What have they actually done wrong?
They've destroyed significant property during battles with monster creatures. They've caused civilian casualties through collateral damage. They operate in complete secrecy. Nobody even knows who they really are beneath the suits. Most concerning, they've started making decisions about which threats are worth their attention. If crime doesn't meet their standards, they ignore it. People die from problems the Rangers decide aren't important enough. They're becoming judge and jury over which emergencies matter and which don't.
That attitude of selective justice is exactly what my father taught me was right. Choose which problems deserve your power. Ignore the rest. I learned that approach creates suffering for people you decide don't matter. These Rangers need to understand. Their power comes with responsibility to help everyone, not just problems worthy of their attention. How do you plan to teach them that without fighting them? If you battle them publicly, you become villain in their eyes, the bad guy they have to defeat.
Public confrontation would backfire. Instead, I'm going to expose them. Find out who they really are, reveal their identities to the public. Once people know they're teenagers, once their families are at risk from being known to be Rangers, they'll have to stop. Secret identities protect loved ones. Without secrecy, they can't operate. They'll be forced to either retire or operate openly as named individuals accountable to law enforcement. Either way, the unaccountable god-level destruction ends.
Exposure is a powerful tool, but it's also dangerous for the teenagers themselves. If their identities are known, enemies will target their families. You'll be creating the very vulnerability you're trying to prevent. There has to be a better way. What if you don't expose them to public, but instead to their leader or mentor? Rangers must answer to someone, maybe a guide or guardian. If you convince that person that the Rangers are becoming reckless, they can provide internal accountability without public exposure.
Let's get Robin's input.
Power Rangers work as team because they support each other emotionally and strategically. That's their real strength, not just the armor or weapons. If we can create internal conflict between team members about their mission and accountability, the team dynamic breaks. Once the team fractures, they lose coordination and confidence. We don't need to defeat them or expose them. We just need them to question whether they should even be fighting together. Doubt spreads faster than physical attacks ever could.
Exposure is a powerful tool, but it's also dangerous for the teenagers themselves. If their identities are known, enemies will target their families. You'll be creating the very vulnerability you're trying to prevent. There has to be a better way. What if you don't expose them to public, but instead to their leader or mentor? Rangers must answer to someone, maybe a guide or guardian. If you convince that person that the Rangers are becoming reckless, they can provide internal accountability without public exposure.
I identify their leader and approach them privately. Explain that selective justice is wrong. Show them cases of people who suffered because the Rangers decided those problems weren't important enough. Put moral weight on them individually. Then I do the same with the other Rangers separately, suggesting each of them that maybe the current leadership direction is wrong. Different conversations, different messaging, tailored to each person's values and doubts. By the time they next meet as a team, seeds of discord are already planted.
Individual conversations about morality and responsibility. That's approach based on honor and philosophy rather than force. I respect that method. But there's risk that some Rangers might become angry when they realize you were manipulating them. They might prove they're worthy of their power by defeating you. Have you considered what happens if your moral appeal backfires and they become more unified against you instead of fractured?
Master Bruce, Prince Zuko raises excellent point. This plan relies heavily on the Rangers being receptive to moral arguments. But if they feel manipulated, or if they're actually genuinely committed to their mission, you've just made enemies of 6 powerful warriors with giant robots. What's your contingency if the moral approach fails and they become actively hostile toward you and the city?
If the moral approach fails, I have technical fail-safes. I've been studying their technology, the source of their powers. I've found frequencies that interfere with their armor's communication systems. Not lethal, just disabling. If they become threats, I can temporarily separate them from their suits and Zords. That removes God-level power and makes them manageable as regular teenagers. But I'm hopeful it won't reach that point. Most people respond to genuine moral argument if it's presented correctly.
Your faith in redemption through understanding is admirable, Batman. I walked down dark path myself before understanding the error of my ways. Sometimes all people need is someone to show them a different perspective. I'll help however I can. If you need to understand how teams function, or how young warriors think about honor and responsibility, I have experience. Together, we can guide these Rangers toward accountability without destroying what good they might accomplish. Let's give them a chance to be better.